Welcome everybody to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube today. Hello friends, your ridiculously over good brother Anthony Florio here, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher, the Twisted Angel D.D. Woodson, awaiting the presence of Michael Bullock. I don't know if he'll be here or not. We'll see. If he comes in, we'll catch him up on what he missed. If not, then perhaps we'll see him on the Cerebral Smack Talk. So let's get right into this. Monday Night Raw, not live this week, taped the O2 Arena, London, England. When there's taped shows, you know what that means. Spoilers beforehand. So there were spoilers today, and tomorrow will mark the return of SmackDown spoilers, something we used to look forward to reading when we were back in the younger days. But for right now, let's get into this one here. This taped show from the O2 in London. And I gotta say, it's not often I say this, but this was actually a solid and newsworthy go home to Money in the Bank edition of Monday Night Raw this evening. We started it off with an international edition, like as they were billing it, Miz TV, Miz's guest, the big dog, Roman Reigns. And, they talk smack about Shane O'Mac and Elias and all this. And then it brings out Shane O'Mac. And then Miz and Roman get double teamed by Bobby Lashley and Elias. Shane O'Mac sets up a tag team match. Roman Reigns and The Miz against Bobby Lashley and Elias. Shane O'Mac in Lashley and Elias' corner. And Roman Reigns and The Miz win that match via disqualification in 11 minutes and 10 seconds. As far as the segment goes, Miz delivered a solid promo regarding his match with Shane, whereas Roman always seems to play it cool rather than show real fire when selling his matches. In this case, he was scripted to tear down Elias rather than position him as a threat. So I wasn't really sold on that match, and to be honest, it's I don't really have that much of high hopes going into that match, but we'll see. As far as the tag team match goes, it's going to be an NA because it was a throwaway finish. But if I had to put a rating on it, I would have given it between 2.5 and 3 because it was an entertaining tag match that wisely put some heat on the heels going into Money in the Bank Sunday night. And to be honest, WWE has done a much better job of building up the Miz and Shane match than they have Roman and Elias. The better build to a match, the more I can look forward to it. Miz and Shane O'Mac, they're building that thing really well. And considering how great their Falls Count Anywhere match was at Mania, including the sickest spot you'll ever see, who knows what they have in store inside the confines of the steel cage. So solid opening segment, 2.5 to 3 star match, but it's going to have to be an NA automatically because of the throwaway. So nothing more to say. Good old MF Michael Fletcher, come on in. Let's get your thoughts on the opening segment as well as that opening tag match, JR 97 style.
Yeah, first off, I agreed with what you said. Definitely a good opening segment. Um, as far as the segment goes, I mean, yeah, it was good. It was solid, whatever. Nothing more to say about that. But what I really got a little annoyed about was the NA finish. Not really happy with that. Not really satisfied with it at all. Um, really nothing more to say about it. So, like you said, NA, and then as far as the other thing goes, good solid fight. So, Didi, what's it? It's all yours, my dear.
Yowie, wowie.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, loud
Okay,
and clear.
because I just knocked my headset out of my ear with my foot, so I didn't know if it was going to work or not. All right, the segment was a good segment. Roman trying to get Miz to be the same Miz we've seen, last week and a couple of times here, where he's not so self-centered. He's all focused on the task at hand, which is Shane. Yeah, there isn't a great build for Roman Reigns versus Elias, but of course this was kind of like a last-minute throw-together match, in my opinion, since it's only been like a week or two since they've made the match. As for the tag match, yeah, it's an NA. It started out really good, but yeah, due to Shane interfering, it's definitely an NA. But it did, of course, give Miz and Roman the advantage. Now, whether or not we do the booking 101 with this, where they're going to lose at the pay-per-view, we'll have to wait and see, or whether they go opposite of it and go ahead and let them both win at the pay-per-view. Like I said, we'll have to wait and see. It's just, just something to, I guess, whet our taste buds for the pay-per-view and try to get us, interested and riled up for it. And like Anthony said, the build up was a lot bigger for Miz and Shane, and a lot of people I think are looking more forward to that than they are to Roman and Elias. I know I'm not really looking forward to Roman and Elias, but that's my opinion. So, like I said, NA, not much more I'm going to say about it. Florio, it's yours.
Alrighty, moving on. Of course, what is a ridiculously raw without cutouts? And of course, we have one here. Mojo Rawley making quick work of Apollo Crews, 1 minute and 15 seconds. The idea appears to be that Mojo is frustrated to the point that he's deranged. It's odd that they ran those vignettes where he was talking to himself in a mirror on and off for so long, took another break, and then had him work his first Raw match using the new persona without any recent build. So I don't know what else there is to say on that. Now we get into one of the segments that was hyped for this show, one of the many segments that they hyped for this show. The double contract signing. Becky Two Belts, along with both of her challengers. Challenger for the Raw Women's Championship, the Lady Lacey Evans, the Sassy Southern Belle, and her challenger for the SmackDown Women's Championship, the Queen Charlotte Flair, Michael Cole presiding, and an MF, in the immortal words of JBL and Michael Bullock, when it comes to this contract signing, yeah, this didn't end well.
It did not end well at all, man. Tempers definitely flared. Good segment. That's all I can say. Well done. Look, you bring the fire, you bring the passion, you bring everything that was going there. I liked it. I had nothing wrong with it. This was a good build for Money in the Bank on both fronts. So I think they served its purpose really well. They did a great job with it. I got nothing more to say about it. This was definitely one of the segments of the night. So, Dee, what's in this yours?
Yeah, this was a really good segment, and the build for this, both of these matches have been excellent. I mean, it's giving you a chance to really look forward to the 2 title defenses for Becky, and whether or not she stacked her cards up too high this time, we'll have to wait and see. But this definitely was good storyline build, very good segment. What can you expect? Every contract signing usually ends with somebody going through a table and a brawl breaking out. So, I mean, they stuck to the same routine that they always have, but they definitely did a good job building this up. I like the little line Becky said about the 2 girls being sisters because they look alike and they act alike and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, it was great build, great back and forth between the 3 of them. So yeah, not much more I'm going to say about it. Definitely one of the segments of the night. So Florio, it's yours.
I can make an argument that this was the segment of the night, honestly. The only downside was that, Charlotte and Becky, they've run out of things to say to one another. But here's an interesting thing. I thought it was very interesting that the broadcast team did not play up the idea of Becky potentially being forced to defend her title possibly 3 times with the Money in the Bank ladder match winner taking place on the same show. We saw it last year with Alexa Bliss on Nia Jax. So, that's just some food for thought. But other than that little nitpick with Charlotte and Becky, Lacey Evans really stepped up her game tonight. And, that was one of her best verbal exchanges. And you can wonder why WWE is solidly behind her, because she is in line. I read a lot of dirt sheets this year saying that she that Lacey Evans is in line for a major push down the road. And who knows? Could they do the unthinkable? Could they actually put her over Becky on Sunday night and have Lacey Evans walk out the new Raw Women's Champion? Could happen. But, we'll get into that in due time. But for right now, let's get into our next matchup, which was a preview of the men's Money in the Bank ladder match of sorts. Constable Bleepface Baron Corbin squaring off against the one and only Ricochet. And surprise, surprise, Constable Bleepface wins the match. 9 minutes and 35 seconds. But Didi Woodson, despite the outcome, solid match. Ricochet actually got a passable match out of this guy.
Solid match, definitely. I'm going to give it about 2 1/4 to maybe 2.5 stars. Because it was a solid match. A good way to showcase at least 2 of the guys that's in the Money in the Bank ladder match. I really don't have a lot of negative to say, unless you just throw it all at Constable Buttface, because of course nobody likes him, especially the way both him and Shane McMahon forces the announcers to give them the very long opening of all of their accomplishments. So yeah, like I said, I don't really have anything negative to say, because it was a very good match, and it was very good for the storyline build for the match at the pay-per-view. So not much more I'm going to say about it. I will give it right back to you.
All right, very good. And let's keep this pace up here. I'm loving this. So, all right. 2.5 stars. I could say sleeper fight of the night here. I mean, this was a solid match. Yes, head-scratching outcome. I think they're simply trolling us, trolling us fans by giving, Corbin a win over an internet darling like Ricochet. He is an IWC persona. But here's an interesting question. Are they having Ricochet lose here with the intention of perhaps putting him over in the Money in the Bank match on Sunday night? Either way, Ricochet, in my opinion, should be presented as a rising star, not a guy who loses throwaway matches to Robert Roode and Constable Bleepface. So that's just my thought on that. So solid 2.5 stars, though, and leave it to Ricochet, one of those rare guys who can actually get a passable match out of Constable Bleepface. So nothing more to say on that. So MF, your thoughts on Baron Corbin going over Ricochet?
Not happy. I think I'm with everybody on that one. I getting the money. I feel like earn it right a little bit, and I think that's the best way to do it. Or it could be McMahon just burying another NXT talent. You never know. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna go. This is about maybe our fight. Nothing more to say. Yours.
Yeah. Your mic sounded a little weird there, MF, but all right. Nonetheless, let's move on here. A preview of the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. A fatal 4-way match. Now, Alexa Bliss was supposed to be in this match because, it was Naomi, Dana Brooke, Natalya. But an interesting backstage segment went down earlier in the show. Alexa Bliss, talking about how she lost her luggage and all this good stuff. And then Nikki Cross, who they've obviously tamed, and I guess they're repackaging her character. And I got into this. We saw that character here tonight, and Nikki Cross takes Alexa Bliss's place in the 4-way. And go figure, Nikki Cross wins the match in 9 minutes and 25 seconds. And then after the match, Alexa Bliss shows up, and apparently Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss have formed some sort of alliance here. So, 2.5 to 3 stars here. Nice win for Nikki Cross, though it was strange considering she's not actually in the ladder match at this point. Still not sure why she was so normal backstage and then back in craze mode for the match. But perhaps they have something different in mind for her on Raw. And I think down the road she could end up feuding with Alexa Bliss at some point, which I think would be a very fun and entertaining program, especially if they take their time and build to it. Miz and Shane O'Mac, like what they were doing with that. So yeah, very interesting here. So 2.5 to 3 is my rating for this. Another sleeper fight of the night here, and MF. I mean, we all know how high you are on you. You've been high on Nikki Cross since day one, and you were begging for WWE to give her a main roster opportunity. She got it, but unfortunately, it wasn't on your show, SmackDown Live. It's here on Raw. So, but hey, her and Alexa though, what do you make of that?
But you never know, because now with these new wild card rules, I mean, it's possible we could see Nikki Cross on SmackDown one of these days. You never know. I thought this was a good fight. 2.5 stars. I agree with that. Definitely one of the top fights of the evening, and it was a surprise outcome. I don't think a lot of people really would have thought that this was going to be a really good match. I just don't know how Nikki and Alexa are going to work together. I think that's going to be an interesting dynamic, but at the end of the day, I thought this was pretty solid. I liked it. So nothing more to say, and Didi, it's yours, my dear.
Yeah, it was a little strange to see Nikki Cross acting normal, but if you really think about it, a crazy person can do something like that where they can make themselves seem really normal and everything, and then the next minute, snap, you're that crazed maniac again. So, and from the look on her face at the end of that segment, that's exactly the take I got from it, was that she is playing this game. And yes, I think it is going to come down to an eventual Nikki Cross versus Alexa Bliss match, because you can't always trust a crazy person. And, Alexa has this habit of trusting people, and then either Alexa stabbing them in the back or somebody stabbing her in the back. More likely it's Alexa stabbing other people in the back. But this time she may get her just desserts and actually get stabbed in the back by Nikki. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm going to agree with the rating, about 2.5 stars. Very well done match, and would love to see something happen at the pay-per-view and they throw Nikki in place of Alexa Bliss. That would be awesome. But we'll just have to kind of wait and see what happens here and see how this win for her affects how this is going to turn out for the pay-per-view. So not much more I'm going to say about it. It's yours, Florio.
All right, let's move on to our next match. MF had to step away, so Didi Whitson, I'm going to have you lead off on this next match. We had Rey Mysterio squaring off against Cesaro. Rey Mysterio wins the match, 10 minutes and 40 seconds. Didi Whitson, what a match here.
This was very well done match. For me, I have this one as the fight of the night. I'm giving it 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. Very well done. Definitely showcased both superstars. They worked very well off of each other. I don't really have much negative to say about it. I mean, Rey is coming off of the personal emotions that both Joe and Cesaro has hit. So, they've gone, both of them's gone there in different ways. So, yeah, I mean, there's, seeing Rey stand there watching the video from Joe talking with Dominic. I mean, yeah, even the fact that, I'm a mom, that would tick me off just about as much as it ticked him off, him being the dad. So, yeah, I can see where Rey's coming from on this, and I think he has the backing of a lot of people, just like AJ did when this situation happened with him and Joe. So not much more I'm going to say about it. I will toss it over to you.
I agree. I mean, 3.5 stars, entertaining television match. I would really love to see Creative get behind Cesaro, but he continues to be featured as more of a good hand than a guy they have plans for. And that's a shame, because here's a guy who I think has earned himself, has earned himself the possibility of, getting a decent singles push. I mean, they gave him one when he first came in, you remember, he had Oksana with him. He won the United States Heavyweight Championship, had a decent run with it, and but he had that great run with Sheamus, with the bar, and of course that sad news about Sheamus. I mean, he's really banged up, and we will continue to pray for him for a speedy recovery. I mean, his injury might be a lot more serious than we initially thought. So, but nonetheless, this was a great matchup. I mean, when I heard about this match, I was excited because these are two guys that we know can work, and sure enough, we got that quality match that we expected. And yeah, I'll take more matches with these two, absolutely. So that was a very well done matchup there. So I'm not sure if MF is back in yet, but I was going to throw it back to him, but I guess he's not back in yet. So we'll just have to wait for the indication that he's back in. So with all that, let's just while we wait for MF, let's get into our next matchup here. And then of course the Firefly Funhouse, and oh my goodness, this is what we've been waiting for here. And then the evil Bray Wyatt there, my goodness. And he was shown in a different outfit wearing an evil looking mask. So who knows what they have in store for him, but that might have been the best Firefly Funhouse installment yet. So we'll see what happens with that. Okay, MF is back in. So MF, your thoughts on this is a dream match for you. Rey Mysterio and Antonio Cesaro. What a match here.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. If you're a fan of either one, you really enjoyed this fight. This is an excellent match, to say the very least. I really got nothing bad to say about this. This is another 2.5 to 3 star battle, and yeah, well done by the men. And I did hear you say about the Firefly Funhouse. I've become a big mark on this. I don't know what it is about it. And I get it. I hear all the some of the naysayers saying, this is creepy, this is that. But then and again, I said it once, I will say it again. This is Bray Wyatt we're talking about. This was supposed to be a little bit off the cuff, a little bit out there. This is what I really enjoy about the segments. And the thing is that the more deranged and the more psychotic the thing gets, the better it becomes. The quality of it is actually really good. So it kind of is one of those, is either, and I'm gonna be real honest with you, either you're really gonna love it or you're really gonna hate it. There's really nothing in between. It's either a yay or a boo. And for me, 2 thumbs up, yay all the way. Me and a few of the guys, a couple of guys that I know that Anthony doesn't really know or Didi doesn't really know. There's a few guys that I hang out with through Discord and some other social media, and we've been loving this every minute of it. I really enjoyed the last one. I enjoyed tonight as well. So yeah, they're batting 1,000, at least in my mind. So nothing more to say. So Anthony, if you want to go back and take the show over, it's all yours.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to come back in. So main event time, Falls Count Anywhere match for a spot in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Braun Strowman, Sami Zayn. Winner of the match in 14 minutes and 40 seconds. Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn is going to Money in the Bank. Braun Strowman is out. So I'll take it for a spin since I had to have Didi lead off in MF's place. So wow. 3 to 3.5. The broadcast team, of course, they framed the interference as Drew McIntyre and Baron Corbin working to take Strowman out of the match to help their own chances in the match. And here's the thing. Now, I know a lot of people are not happy about it. I know I spoke to Bullock earlier. He wasn't happy about it. But I'm actually okay with it. Here's the reason, it eliminates him, because here's the thing. He was in it last year. He won it. They obviously want to give somebody else a rub with it, and I think that's fine. And Sami Zayn, say what you want about him, but I think he's a good addition. And he's a candidate who could win this thing. And, he could be a really good Money in the Bank contract holder briefcase heel. We've seen that many of times over the years. Look at the Rated R Superstar Edge. Look at Dolph Ziggler. Look at Seth Rollins, just to name. I mean, those to me were the three greatest of all time. I mean, you could even make an argument for Sandow, even though he lost. But still, he had a great run as a good heel holder of the briefcase. So that really is all I can say about that. So I would say maybe second best fight of the night, because that Mysterio Cesaro match was just way too good. So nothing more to say on this. This was 3 to 3.5. This was my second best fight of the night. So surprising outcome. Sami Zayn going over. So MF, I mean, Strowman won it last year. He's not going back this year. Say what you want about it, but I think it's the right move because, we can get a fresh winner in here, and who knows? Sami Zayn, could you imagine if he wins that thing?
Yeah, understandable. I get it, but why on Strowman? That's the thing I don't get is why did they... it makes no sense. Why'd bury Braun Strowman again? Why? I'm really upset about this. This really annoys me, like, to no end. I wonder what Braun did this time to get the heat, because this makes no sense. I mean, if you're going to do that, why put him in the Money in the Bank in the first place if you're going to do that to him? So I'm sorry. I am not happy at all. Very disappointed. The booking and the logic doesn't make sense. That's all I'm going to say about it. Sorry, guys. I don't. Nothing more to say. This was awesome, but DD go. 3 stars.
Yeah, it was a 3-star match. I think I could probably agree with Bullock. I think a lot of this was possibly, Corbin and McIntyre trying to set up an easy win for themselves, because it's hard. Would be really hard for them to beat Strowman, and they're thinking Ricochet's an easy target. Zayn would be an easy target, which is why they fed him to Zayn at the end of, or fed Zayn to Strowman at the end of the match anyway. But then there's another possibility, that since Shane made this match, that maybe Shane was the one who had these two come in and knock Strowman out. So, I mean, there's a lot of possibilities that could go into why Strowman was the one that was chosen for this. But if like I say, if you notice, it was 3-on-1 pretty much through the whole night for this to happen. And then, of course, we also have to RIP the announce area, since they fought up there too. So not much more I'm going to say about it. Definitely 3 stars, but not the best match of the night, and not the ending I think a lot of us wanted. So, Floyd, what's yours?
All right, overall review of Monday Night Raw. MF, you started off.
Other than the bitter taste in the mouth at the end of the night, I'm going to give this about 7 to 7.5 out of 10. For once, a good Monday Night Raw. Solid show. Definitely newsworthy, to say the very least. You said that, Florio, very well. No, this was a good show. So 7.5 for me. Didi, it's yours.
Yeah, I'll agree. About 7.5. It was a very newsworthy show. Definitely a lot of building up for the pay-per-view. A lot of even backstage stuff. A lot of promos and stuff that was just very well done on building the storylines. Stuff we don't usually say with Raw. We usually say with SmackDown. Because Raw is not notorious for their storylines, but this time they actually did it. They pulled it off. They got the show put together. very well and definitely built it for the pay-per-view for a change. And, this was definitely a great go-home show for Raw. So not much more I'm going to say about it. I will see you all for Smack Talk. Night.
All right, good night, Dee Dee. I agree. 7.5. This show is easier to watch than the last couple of weeks. And some of the Money in the Bank card I'm not really sold on, to be honest. But they did give decent hype to both of the Money in the Bank matches on the Raw side, which I thought was really great. And we had several quality matches on this show tonight, and some good quality segments. Of course, we also had those great backstage interview segments with AJ Styles and Seth Rollins ahead of their Universal Championship match, which we all know is going to steal the dang show. So that's really all there is to say on that. So Mysterio and Cesaro, amazing. Falls Count Anywhere was good, even with the blah outcome. Corbin and Ricochet delivered a surprising match. The 4-way women's match was good. That opening tag match was actually pretty good as well. A couple of other good segments. The opening segment, the contract signing. Yeah. So go figure. They can do this on a taped show, whereas live shows end up being crap. So it's back to reality next week because we're going back live and they'll be in Albany, New York next week. So that's all I can say on that. So 7.5. I agree 100%. So quick Tony's take here, 205 Live. We started it off with Arya Daivari against Noam Dar. Arya Daivari wins the match in 8.5 minutes. 2 3/4 stars, pretty good match. A little bit too competitive for my liking, especially since Daivari is the #1 contender for the Cruiserweight Championship in Tony Nese. So nothing more to say on that. Singh brothers in a squash match, 1 minute 45 seconds. They really did it in reverse. The Singhs lose last week in their return. It feels they should have won a match first. Fine squash. It was announced that next week, tomorrow night in England, we have a 4-way match with Jack Gallagher, Mark Andrews, Humberto Carrillo, and James Drake. So that's all there is to say on that. And then the main event, Mike Kanellis against Akira Tozawa. Akira Tozawa wins the match 60 minutes, 10 seconds, 3 1/4 stars. Good main event. They played to the stipulation well, and they got the crowd into it. So by the end, so that's all there is to say on that. 7 out of 10. Another good show. It continued to build to Nese and Daivari. Set matches for next week and repositioned Akira Tozawa as a possible title contender down the road. So that's all there is to say on that. So Impact Wrestling from Friday night. LAX against the North. Moose and Josh Alexander. LAX wins it 7.5 minutes. 3-star match. Good opener. Moose and Alexander worked well as a team before they eventually fell apart, and LAX gets the win. I don't know if I bring up backstage segments here, but Tommy Dreamer being interviewed by Melissa Santos with Rick Swan, Willie Max, Scarlett Bordeaux, and Falaba. You got to go out of your way to see this backstage promo because this was one of Tommy Dreamer's best promos. I got to tell you. I felt it, and that's all I can say on that. I mean, it's one you got to really see. I mean, you should see the emotion that he showed during this. I mean, it's the same way I am, being that, that inspirational encouragement figure. And that's exactly what he was here. And, it was almost like he was taking me to church. That's all there is to say on that. So that was well done. Getting back to the action, Knockouts champion Taya Valkyrie, Madison Rayne non-title match. Madison Rayne wins it 12 minutes, 2.5 stars, solid match. Taya was willing to lose the non-title match and setting up Madison as maybe her next challenger. Who knows? Jordan Grace in a squash match against a young lady named Alexis Nicole, 2 minutes, 55 seconds. Fine rebound squash win for Jordan Grace. The in-ring return of RVD, Rob Van Dam. He went up against Ethan Page. RVD wins 5 minutes, 55 seconds. 2-star match. It was okay as Page really sold for RVD, but the booking was terrible. RVD basically beat 2 men because Alexander interfered. Don Callis on commentary saying that RVD looked the same as 20 years ago. Nah, not really here. Cody and Jake Diener, the Desi Hit Squad, Brett Banks and Aiden Prince, the Rascals, 4-way tag team matchup. Desi Hit Squad wins it 5 minutes, 7 seconds, 2.25 stars. Okay match. It was too rushed. And of course, they had the worst team going over. I don't know why. And then the main event, 8-man tag team OVE rules match. All 4 members of OVE against Rich Swann, Willie Mack, Falaba, Tommy Dreamer. OVE, they go over 16 minutes, 25 seconds. Fight of the night. Go out of your way to see this. MF, I know how much you love these insane, hardcore matches. This is one that I hope you went out of your way to see the other night. Unbelievable match. 3 3/4 stars. Tremendously fun. Really good brawl. Fun high spots. Action that played off of the established feuds well. And OVE getting the big win. And it was a win that they really needed. So glad they got that big win there. 6 1/4 to 6.5 out of 10. Solid show. Good opener. Very good main event. Flat middle, though. Too much filler, but it is what it is. So that's really all I can say on that. So now let's quickly get into what we can expect on Friday night's show. And it's going to be in Philly. Philadelphia is going to have this show. We're going to have a Knockouts Battle Royal. I'm just going to say that. You're not going to like how that ends. It's not going to end well. Believe me, it's not going to end well. Rosemary against Su Yung in a Demon Collar match. Killer Cross against Eddie Edwards. And then in the main event, the number 1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship, Michael Elgin. He's going to go up against the X Division champion, Rich Swann. So that should be an interesting matchup there. Interesting show all around. So that's that. That's Friday night, 10 p.m. Pursuit Channel, for those of you who have it, or Twitch, whereas MF does. So that's it. Ridiculously Raw in the books for this week. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. MF, right on cue. Cerebral Smack Talk. Are we doing it tomorrow? Are we doing it Wednesday? When are we doing it?
We're doing it tomorrow night, 10:30 Eastern. We're gonna be talking SmackDown Live, and there was some other Mikey Mindset. Actually, an RWA show went down this past week. We're gonna give you the results on that. And no, that's it. So 10:30 Eastern tomorrow night, and we'll see you on Brace Fan 95 tomorrow. So good night, everybody. Anthony, take it home.
Yeah, and MF, hang on here. So I want you to hear this. We got another short docket for Strictly Sports on Friday night. Doug Baldwin retiring, Frank Vogel, the new head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, and Major League Baseball power rankings, and that's it. So another short show like we had this past week. And by the way, we're going to have to set up what time would be good for everybody sometime on Saturday evening, because we got the Money in the Bank pay-per-view this weekend. We got to set up a time that's good for everybody, so we can do the preview show, and then of course the recap with MF following the event on Sunday night. So, and then right back here next week. Big week next week. We got Monday Night Raw, and then of course the big SmackDown show that we're all looking forward to next week. So yeah, so that's it. So until tomorrow night at 10:30 for the Cerebral Smack Talk with MF over on Brace Fan 95. It's your ridiculously over good brother Anthony Florio here. For good old MF, Michael Fletcher. For Didi Woodson. And in spirit, Michael Bullock, who's going to be with us this evening. And, of course, Derek Ferrer, who puts it all together every week. And until tomorrow night for this Real Smack Talk, the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up, Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Tuesday. And until tomorrow night for this Real Smack Talk with MF, you've been listening and watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 and YouTube.com. And remember, no matter what anyone tells you, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.